Now today I brought this meal to show you what $6 buys you in New Mexico. And yes, the tortillas are cut in half because that would mean $8, $9. That's a can of pinto beans. And you can't go without green chili in New Mexico. So this is what some kid somewhere out in rural New Mexico in my state gets to eat for $6 a day. That's breakfast, that is lunch, and that is dinner. Now, would you feed that to your own kids? Could you live off of $6 a day yourself? Probably not. Too many New Mexican families, especially those with young children, are already stretching every dollar and every meal. Taking food off of kids' plates while handing tax breaks to billionaires is just wrong. If you're not willing to eat on $6 a day, then don't you dare expect your children or the children in my district to do the same. This partisan legislation breaks that promise, and it'll leave rural communities in the dust, all in order to give these massive tax breaks to corporations and the ultra-wealthy. Under this partisan plan, it would cost the state of New Mexico around $255 million just in next year, and an estimated $2.4 billion over the next 10 years. Folks, we don't have that kind of money. That bill would force rural New Mexicans to choose between feeding their children or educating them, between building rural health care clinics or keeping small grocery stores open, and between supporting small farmers or feeding hungry seniors. Not in the name of fiscal responsibility, as some have claimed in this committee, or in order to reduce the national debt, because this bill and this entire bill does none of that, but simply to line the pockets of corporations and billionaires. Hungry people can't work, hungry kids can't learn, hungry families can't raise their children, and a hungry nation cannot prosper. New Mexican children, families, farmers, and rural communities should not be forced to pay for these reckless tax breaks for the wealthy. This committee has historically come together across party lines to support farmers and families. But today, I'm ashamed that we're throwing that legacy aside to gut SNAP, one of the most effective anti-hunger programs in our country. And I'm not just ashamed. Just like the constituents in my district, I'm angry. I'm angry because some members of this committee are taking food off the table from the families I represent in southern New Mexico. In my district, 1 in 4 families rely on SNAP to have something to eat every day. These are hardworking Americans, families that I've personally visited. These are kids that I personally served when I spent years volunteering for my local food pantry. Now, don't just take it from me. I want you to hear it from them. They're scared that even in these dire economic straits, you're about to make them go hungry. That's why they shared with me these empty plates. This includes an elder from Isleta Pueblo who relies on SNAP after chemotherapy and cancer treatment damage her vision that prevents her from working. This includes a grandmother with 3 grandchildren who wrote to me, "I ask you, I beg you to not take away this much needed assistance from families who depend on this help to survive." And this also includes a mother whose SNAP benefits are already delayed, who said being able to afford everything my family needs is hard, and despite working, relies on SNAP to feed her 3 children. Gutting SNAP doesn't just hurt these hardworking families who use it. It hurts rural grocery stores that depend on SNAP through a local food hub. It hurts small farmers. It hurts a small town cashier who will get laid off when SNAP dollars disappear, and they'll have to rely on SNAP too, if they can even qualify. Now, I recently visited Saucedo Supermarket in Lordsburg, New Mexico, the only grocery store in a 30-mile radius, run by a tight-knit family that took over the family business. Without SNAP, which accounts for 80% of their business, they told me they'd likely close. If rural areas like this, losing a grocery store means families go hungry. SNAP isn't just a safety net. It's infrastructure for healthy families and for our economy. In my district alone, we have 592 food retailers, including 12 farmers markets who depend on SNAP. It keeps shelves stocked, it pays workers, and it helps our growers keep growing year after year. So let me be clear about what's happening here. In this committee, some are proposing taking $300 billion out of the hands of working, hungry families. And down the hall, my colleagues across the aisle in Energy and Commerce are cutting Medicaid and health care, also that the majority in Ways and Means can give more tax breaks to the wealthy. Honestly, who do we all work for? I work for the good, hardworking people of New Mexico, honest Americans struggling to make ends meet. This isn't reform. This isn't fiscal responsibility. This is theft, plain and simple. And it's rural families, it's veterans, it's seniors, farmers and ranchers who are footing the bill. But it's not just snap cuts that concern me. It's the fact that by going down this road, we're abandoning the Farm Bill. And with it, every farmer who's counting on specialty crop programs, conservation dollars, and certainty for the next 5 years. Mr. Chairman, the people in my district didn't send me here to watch their livelihoods get turned into bargaining chips. They sent me here to fight for them, to fight for their basic needs, for rural businesses and for our farmers. That's exactly what I'm going to keep doing. I think you all should too. I'll yield back, Mr. Chairman.